Deep in the heart of the Philippines lies a mysterious forest known as Honeymoon Forest. Legends whispered of its haunting beauty and its eerie secrets. Newlyweds Eric and Sarah, adventurous souls seeking thrills, decided to spend their honeymoon in this unconventional destination. Little did they know that their romantic getaway would soon become a nightmare. As Eric and Sarah set foot into the forest, an unsettling silence fell upon them. The trees loomed overhead, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the dim light. The couple exchanged nervous glances, but their excitement outweighed their unease. "Sarah, can you feel the strange energy in the air?" Eric whispered, clutching her hand tightly. Sarah shivered, her skin tingling with an intangible chill. "Yes, it's like the forest is alive." They continued their trek, the dense foliage causing their path to disappear. With each step, the forest seemed to tighten its grip on them. Suddenly, distant laughter broke through the silence. Eric and Sarah turned towards the sound, their hearts racing. "Who's there?" Eric called out, his voice quivering with unease. No response came, but the laughter grew louder. It echoed through the trees, mocking them. "Eric, this place feels ominous," Sarah muttered, her teeth chattering. They pushed forward, determined to unravel the forest's mysteries. But as they ventured deeper, the air grew heavier, and the laughter transformed into whispers that filled their minds. The young couple exchanged glances, their hearts brimming with curiosity. "Yes, we are," they declared in unison. And so, Eric and Sarah took the young couple under their wing, guiding them through the untamed beauty of Honeymoon Forest. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the tales of haunted whispers and ghostly laughter followed in their wake. The young couple's eyes widened in awe, their faces alight with both fear and exhilaration. The forest welcomed them, its mysteries unfolding. The laughter of ghosts, once haunting, now became a symphony of shared experiences, carrying the legacy of those who had found love amidst the darkness. As the four wanderers disappeared into the heart of Honeymoon Forest, the spirits of the ghostly couple looked on, their ethereal presence whispering, "Love prevails, even in the darkest of nights." And so, the hauntings of Honeymoon Forest continued, intertwined with the stories of those who dared to venture into its depths. The forest watched over them, its ancient trees standing tall as guardians. It had witnessed love, fear, and everything in between. It was forever the curator of haunting tales. And as the sun set, casting long shadows over Honeymoon Forest, the souls of the ghostly couple danced, forever grateful for the eternal love that had saved them from a timeless torment. Eric and Sarah gazed upon the bouquet, tears of joy streaming down their faces. The curse had been lifted, the forest's grip on their hearts released. With newfound appreciation for the beauty and darkness of the world, Eric and Sarah left the forest together, forever changed. Months later, they returned to Honeymoon Forest, not as honeymooners but as ambassadors of the haunted realm. They dedicated their lives to preserving the forest's mystery and helping others who wandered into its grasp. Deep in conversation, they strolled hand in hand through the forest, sunlight filtering through the canopy. Life had been unforgiving, but their love endured, unyielding against the darkest of forces. "Remember that time we spent our honeymoon here?" Sarah asked, her laughter echoing through the trees. Eric smirked, his eyes twinkling mischievously. "How could I forget? We found love in the darkness." Suddenly, a rustling sound interrupted their reminiscing. They turned to see a couple emerging from the forest, wide-eyed and teeming with excitement. "Are you lost?" Eric called out, a knowing smile playing on his lips. The couple approached, nervous but eager. "Yes, we are," the young woman confessed. "We heard this place is haunted." Sarah chuckled, her voice warm. "Haunted indeed, but with a kind of magic that fuels the soul." Eric leaned in closer, his eyes gleaming mischievously. "Are you prepared for a honeymoon you'll never forget?" Eric and Sarah were overcome with compassion. "We will help you," Sarah declared, her voice resolute. The ghostly bride smiled, her ethereal visage lighting up. "You must gather our scattered memories. Only then can we find peace." And so, Eric and Sarah embarked on a haunting mission. They ventured through the forest, gathering fragments of the ghostly couple's past from forgotten corners and moss-covered relics. With each memory found, a piece of the ghostly bride's sorrow lifted. She and her lover grew closer to finding eternal rest. However, their task was not without danger. The forest fought against their progress, unleashing spectral horrors to deter them. The couple faced nightmarish creatures born from the darkest recesses of the forest's malevolence. They fought valiantly, their love serving as their shield. As they conquered each monstrous obstacle, the ghostly bride's ethereal glow grew brighter. Finally, the last memory was uncovered, hidden within the heart of the forest. The ghostly couple's love story was complete. Gathering in the hidden chamber, Eric and Sarah laid the memories before the ghostly bride. The chamber vibrated with a powerful energy. The ghostly couple embraced, their transparent forms merging, and a blinding light enveloped the chamber. When the light faded, the ghostly bride and her lover were gone. In their place stood a vibrant bouquet of flowers, the colors of their souls now free. "We shouldn't have come here," Sarah sobbed, tears streaming down her face. Suddenly, the cabin's door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Panic consumed them as darkness suffocated their senses. As hours turned into days, Eric and Sarah wandered through the cabin, consumed by their own fears. Their honeymoon had transformed into a nightmare. Their minds played cruel tricks, distorting their perception of reality. They could no longer tell where the cabin ended and the forest began. One day, they stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor beneath the cabin's floorboards. It led to a winding underground tunnel, an abyss of unknown horrors. Hand in hand, they descended into the inky darkness, their footsteps echoing in the void. At the tunnel's end, they discovered a desecrated altar, adorned with faded flowers and moldy remnants of offerings. "What kind of place is this?" Eric murmured, his voice trembling. Suddenly, voices filled the air, a chorus of mournful wails, cries of lost souls. Sarah and Eric covered their ears, desperate to drown out the haunting melody. It was then they saw a flickering light in the corner of their eyes. They turned, drawn towards it like moths to a flame. The light led them to a hidden chamber, where a ghastly figure awaited them. It was the ghostly bride, her wedding gown stained with the passage of time. "Leave this place," she whispered, her voice melancholic. "Do not share our cursed fate." Sarah stumbled upon a decrepit cabin hidden among the trees. It stood as a relic of the past, its wooden planks weathered and cracked. Against their better judgment, they decided to investigate. Cautiously, they entered, their flashlight casting eerie shadows on the decaying walls. The cabin seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, the very essence of the forest. "What secrets do you hold, old cabin?" Eric's voice quivered with a mix of excitement and fear. Suddenly, the cabin quaked, walls creaking. Sarah and Eric clung to each other as dust rained down from the ceiling. A voice seeped into their minds, like a venomous whisper. "Leave this place before it's too late." Fear gripped their hearts, but curiosity pushed them to stay. They ventured further into the cabin, ignoring the warning. In a hidden corner, they discovered a faded photograph. It depicted a couple, their faces obscured by time. The photograph seemed to radiate a sorrowful longing. "Eric, do you think this was their honeymoon cabin?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Eric stared at the photograph, his eyes glinting with fascination. "Perhaps. Do you think they, too, were haunted by this forest?" At that moment, shadows danced on the cabin walls, twisting and contorting into horrifying shapes. The air felt electric, charged with an otherworldly power. The laughter returned, louder and more menacing than ever. It surrounded them, engulfing their senses until they could hear nothing else.